Hi everyone. It's time to learn about what happens after a federal election. So it can be a time of a little change or a lot of change, depending on if we re-elect the same government or if the Canadian people decide to vote in a new political party for the next 4 years. In this lesson, you're going to learn about how the government forms after a federal election, and you'll also learn the names of the main political parties in Canada. For your citizenship test, you are going to need to know the names of the main political party leaders at the federal level, as well as the names of the leaders in your own electoral district. First, let's talk about what happens after elections. The first thing that happens is the leader of the political party who won the most seats in the House of Commons is invited by the Governor-General to form the government. This leader then becomes the Prime Minister. If the party in power has won at least half of the 338 seats in the House of Commons, it is called a majority government. If the party in power holds less than half of the seats, but still won the most seats in the election, it is called a minority government. To stay in power, the Prime Minister and the party in power must keep the confidence of the majority of MPs. So, for example, for an important vote, when the House of Commons votes on something like a budget, that is considered a matter of confidence. So that's where this idea of responsible government that we've talked about in previous history lessons comes in. If the majority of MPs vote against a major decision, the government in power is defeated. This could result in the Prime Minister asking the Governor-General to call a new election. So you can see how important it is for all MPs, no matter what political party they belong to work together to keep our government running smoothly. After the election, the Prime Minister chooses cabinet ministers to lead government departments. The Prime Minister and the cabinet ministers together are called the Cabinet, and they make important decisions about how Canada is governed. They prepare the budget and propose most new laws. Their decisions can be questioned by all of the MPs in the House of Commons. The other political parties that are not in power are called opposition parties. The opposition party with the most members that won seats in the election is called the official opposition. Opposition parties have a very important role because they debate and try to improve on government proposals for law. So it's good to remember here when we talked about how bills become laws, because this is the point where MPs from opposition parties with different ideas have the opportunity to give input and discuss bills before they become laws for Canadians. Here is a good visual review of the Canadian government structure. Notice how the sovereign is at the top, and then we see the Governor-General as the sovereign's representative in Canada. Then we see Parliament and how it is divided into two, the House of Commons and then the Senate. We see the House of Commons has the government in power and the opposition. The government in power has the Prime Minister and Cabinet, and then the other MPs in the party. The opposition consists of the official opposition party and then the other opposition parties. Sometimes seeing it like this can really help. Now let's learn about Canada's main political parties in the House of Commons. The three parties with the most seats are the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, and the New Democratic Party. There are two other parties with seats in the House of Commons with fewer seats. These are the Bloc Québécois and the Green Party. Moving into the last part of this lesson, you're going to need your Discover Canada guide, and I need you to open it to page 34 and 35. At the top of page 34, you see a question, how much do you know about your government? And then you see lots of blank lines. So that is going to be your big homework. You're going to need to fill in those sections with Canada's political leaders. You need to know the political parties, and you're going to need to know the provincial and territorial political leaders in the province or territory where you live. The reason I can't provide this information for you is because the information changes all the time. Every time there's a federal, provincial, or municipal election, or a political party elects a new leader, the information that you have for page 34 and 35 can change. So it's going to be up to you to stay up to date and review the information and check before your test day that there have not been any changes. So please take the time to fill in these answers. You will need to do some research on the internet, but I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you some information in the resources and links area of the module. It's a bit of work, but it's great practice so you can figure out where to look up information for voting when it's your turn to vote as a Canadian citizen. Okay, see you soon.